everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bo and Joe Show. I'm Joe Tierney. I'm here with my co-host, Bodine Sanders. Hey, Bo, we're back to another Wednesday night, my favorite hour of the week. And we have a lot to talk about tonight. So don't tell me too many of your niceties. Let's get into the dishing. But tell me, I'm kidding. Tell me what's happening, what's going on with the golf tournament. How's life out in Philly? Give us a scoop.
Well, we're supposed to be getting a thunderstorm here tonight. Is it working its way up to you?
We just had it, actually. We had one. I don't know if it's leaving here and heading towards you or what the scoop is, but yeah, we just had a horrible storm here.
Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't lose power. But other than that, everything's good. Golf is good. Folks are getting ready to sign up for the APGA Tour Pro-Am event September 20th here in the Philly market, Montgomery County. So it's in Bluebell, so it's going to be pretty nice. So, but hey, let's jump into it because we have a lot to talk about, right? So yep. ladies first, let's go.
All right. So I think a big topic for me this week, and I almost mentioned it last week, is I don't know if you've seen any of the footage, but the fans brawling in the stands is just out of control to me. I think it's a total lack of respect, a disregard for life, men punching women. I mean, I saw yesterday, which really sparked the conversation again for me, as a gentleman was just knocked out cold in the stands, and the bystanders are cheering, and it's really appalling to me, and it's such a black mark on sports in general. And that is really disturbing. And from my perspective, what do you think?
Well, this has been happening for a long time. I think it has its ebbs and flows. When I think we talked about this on George G show, the fans and their behavior on the Little League and Pop Warner and Pee Wee level, parents. Bad behavior, and it seems like it's just been growing and growing. And so, but if you think about from the professional perspective, they've been kicking people out of sporting events for many years because of their behavior. Talking about the big brawl in Detroit, right? That caused a lot of players to lose lots of money and get suspended for half a season, all of a season, for maybe a year or two, and they had to plead their case at the end of the year. So, it's bad behavior. It really is. And it's bad. And someone's got to put their foot down and say something on a larger scale to wake people up and say, listen, this is just ridiculous. Especially if the parents are doing it. I can see kids, losing their control, getting caught up in the moment, right? And, parents and coaches' jobs and teachers' jobs is to teach kids to control their emotions. But if they looking at turning around and looking in the stands and seeing their parents do it, how you gonna teach your kid not to do it if you're doing it in the stands? It makes no sense.
I agree, and you know what I think? I think it's really at the point now where arrests should be made. When you're assaulting people in the stands and
absolutely,
and I don't know why they don't have a bigger police presence, and I suppose there's a police. We really shouldn't have to. To me, we have so many other issues in the world. Now we have to send police officers in to police fans at a sporting event that's supposed to be fun. It's unfortunate. Now we have to send police officers in to police fans at a sporting event that's supposed to be fun. It's unfortunate. So, Adrian, you're going to have to mute your phone. Police. You're on 2.4 at a sporting event that's supposed to be fun. It's unfortunate. So, Adrian, you're going to have to mute your phone. All right, perfect. So thanks. Now we have Adrian Farris jumping on, and it's a special guest, and it's perfect timing because we had and I don't know if we're done with that last topic, and we're talking about fans brawling in the stands. But Adrian, it's a big day.
I don't know if I'm doing this right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And Adrian
let me get to where I can hear you guys because I can't hear you.
Okay.
All right, hold on.
Adrian is the perfect guy while he works through his mic and whatnot. He's a good example because he's coached baseball for a long period of time, right? What if you're doing it in the stands through his mic and whatnot? He's a good example because he's coached baseball for a long period of time, right? What if you're doing it in the stands through his mic and whatnot? He's a good example because he's coached baseball for a long period of time. Right?
So Adrian, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
So Adrian, you're going to have to mute because we can hear ourselves.
Mute it.
I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but mute until.
You got to mute us playing. Are you watching us on your camera or?
Are you listening to us on your phone and then?
Yeah, I don't think I'm working this right, guys.
All right.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Hold on.
Well, this is the beauty of live.
I'll be right back.
We'll let him get set. So because we want him to talk about baseball because of the Hall of Fame, so he can bring that to the table. But it's getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. It's been getting ridiculous. It's been ridiculous for many years, from football games, basketball games, on every level. It's like a virus, right? Agreed. It's been all over the place. So we've got to correct that, right? So,
absolutely.
But yeah, so let's leave that negative. Let's get off that topic because there's so much good stuff to talk about, right?
That is true.
What is it? Do you have anything? I mean, you want me to go next? I'll go next.
All right, you go next. Because a lot of I'll wait for Adrian because my two celebrations are baseball related. I have a few more negative stories, but you're right. Let's keep it positive. You go ahead. What is on your agenda?
Well, as you can tell, I'm wearing the green and black out of respect for the Eagles and Randall Cunningham because his older brother passed away, Sam the Bam Cunningham, who was a great NFL player, college player. And a lot of folks maybe didn't know that Sam the Bam was Randall Cunningham's older brother. And he passed away at the age of 71. So I'm wearing my Eagles gear just to show my respects for Randall and his family, and condolences to him and his entire family. So it's sad news.
Guys, I don't think I'm doing this right. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We can still hear you, but keep working on it. Once you hear
us, Adrian,
can you hear us now? Nope, I don't think he can hear us now. All right. Have him call in. Get him off the screen and have him call in, and we'll work it out.
I don't know how we do that.
Yeah, are you on Facebook? He can't hear us. So
he can't hear us, so we can hear him, but he can't hear us now. All right, let's put in the comments. Adrian, we can hear you.
Working out the kinks, folks. We're working out the kinks. We need his expertise in baseball.
Exactly. So, So what else? I mean, I want to talk about, and I think you know more about this. I'm intrigued by this topic, and I'm just wondering if you could clarify it for me. Did you read the whole big controversy about the new NFL jersey rule? So
I did not. Tell me about it.
So Tom Brady is up in arms about it. I guess it was really in April, and I'm not sure how jerseys are vetted, but it seems to be, I believe that the way that I'm reading it right, that certain positions are relegated to a certain number scheme, 1 through 49, I believe, went to running backs, and I'm probably misspeaking, and so many numbers went to wide receivers. But now there seems like there's a crossover that 1 through 49 looks like can be for anybody. And I don't know if that was the original rule or not, and if anybody out there wants to chime in. But the reality is Tom saying that he believes that, he said guys were changing their jersey numbers as early as late as today. And he believes that people are going to be defensive. It's going to be particularly troublesome for the defense, and that the wrong players will be blocking and guarding the wrong individuals, and that is going to lead to some type of chaos. You're certainly more knowledgeable about football than I am, but how problematic is it? It sounds like it would be pretty problematic.
Well, what's happening is the NFL is trying to be proactive and progressive regarding guys coming out of college, because in college you can wear whatever jersey number you pretty much want, right? So guys are coming into the NFL wanting to wear a jersey that they wore in college because it's kind of their image and likeness, right? Okay. So if they're now expanding defensive linemen to wear 74, 75 up to 79. And so now they're saying, okay, let's expand that maybe. And so offensive linemen used to wear within that 60 to 50 range, right? So I'm not 100% sure what the range is, but I know it's in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Wide receivers were usually in the 80s or down to the 70, in the teens, right? So if they're opening it up, you could have a defensive lineman wearing number 46. Right. So and that could confuse the quarterbacks or other linemen, I'm assuming. So hey, listen, they got to make adjustments. That's the bottom line. They got to make adjustments and make those adjustments accordingly, and see what happens.
All right. So, Adrian, can you hear us now? Are we good?
No, I don't think so.
Guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Yes, I hear you. I'm sorry.
All right.
Last minute. Sorry about that.
All right, so perfect.
All right, so we're going to jump into baseball, but before that, just know we need to talk about, there's lots of Hall of Fames going on, right? So we got Baseball Hall of Fame. So we need your expertise on when we talk about Derek Jeter and whoever else, because that's the only one I paid attention to. We've got the Basketball Hall of Fame. Joe, that's different than the NBA Hall of Fame. The Basketball Hall of Fame is for college and pro, but it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Hall of Fame, right? So we got a lot of Hall of Fames happening, and so let's jump into baseball, and then because football is going to take a lot of our time.
Okay. So I'll start. Obviously I'm from New York. Derek Jeter is a hometown fan here. And actually he started out here in the minor leagues for the Albany Colony Yankees way back when I was probably in high school. So I've been a fan for decades. He was really a big hit around here. And I just find him to be humble and sweet, and I'm going to say it. He's easy on the eyes. I know you guys probably don't care about that part.
Well, listen, he didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues, Adrian, right? Yeah. He didn't spend a lot of time, and I don't know baseball that much, but I'm pretty sure he didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues because he was destined to roll right into the major leagues. But tell us about Derek Jeter. Go ahead, tell us about Derek Jeter.
No, they brought him up in the end of '95. Didn't get much time. Brought him up at the end of 1995. 1996 was his first year, starting. Opening day, hit a home run on opening day in Cleveland. So special from the beginning.
Yeah, oh yeah. So that's kicked it off, right? The New York fans were in love once he did that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
over.
and if you just followed his career, if you followed his career, just the special things that he did throughout his entire career, even leading up to his 3,000 hit being a home run, his final Yankee at bat being a walk-off single hit through the right side of the infield to drive in the game-winning run. And Jeter was underappreciated everywhere other than New York. He came up with Nomar Garciaparra playing in Boston, A-Rod playing in Seattle. So there were all these other shortstops that everybody was claiming were better players than Derek Jeter. And I can't remember everybody at that point, but I can tell you there are some guys that were mentioned that were supposedly better than him, more valuable. They are not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, did you listen to his speech at all today? No, I listened to the speech, and I thought, actually, it's two pieces. I'm not sure if this was part of the speech or part of the interview.
I did. Just before I had to go to lessons, I did get a chance to.
Yeah. So one of the pieces, and I think it was part of the interview that he said, and this is true. If you remember the Steinbrenner error when George Steinbrenner was in there, and he said, I came up through an organization that would fire you on the drop of the hat, and every day I felt as if I was playing to keep my job. And then in his speech, he was telling the fans how he really was playing for them, and he felt as if they were wearing the jerseys in the stand, and he felt as if they were essentially part of the team, and that he was playing for their respect and admiration. And I just think he's just humble and talented, and just, I saw his two little daughters in the audience. I thought it was just a great day for him, and the Hall of Fame isn't too far from me. I should have made the trip, but I didn't. And it was a great day all around.
Well, I didn't see it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, Jeter is one of those guys that played with the proverbial chip on his shoulder.
Go ahead. We got a delay, but that's all right.
Everybody said he wasn't as good as everybody else, and he just continued to prove it year after year.
Agreed.
What was his nickname? Mr. October, and then it started to leak into November because because of the playoffs and adding
Mr.
playoffs.
November.
So yeah, he definitely had a great career. He's the owner of the Marlins now. So hey, he's done well for himself. You can't knock him. Can't knock him.
Yeah. So then the other big baseball story for me is, did you see Nelson Cruz of the Tampa Bay Rays is the oldest player to hit 30 home runs in a season? He's 41. He hit his 2 home runs, I believe, in the game yesterday. So I certainly want to give him props. I mean, 41 certainly isn't old, but in the sports arena, it's ancient. So I love to see that. And I was very impressed and happy for that celebration. I think that's certainly worth noting as well.
How hard is that, eh?
Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, Nelson Cruz, very solid hitter, 447 career home runs. There aren't a lot of players that get to that plateau. He obviously won't get to 100, but that's a solid career.
Love it.
Good deal.
All right. So what's next for you, Bo?
Well, Adrian, we're gonna kick you off because you got a delay. So thank you for your baseball expertise. We love you. We're gonna work out the kinks sometime in the next couple of days so we can get you back for the playoffs. Okay? All right. So we love you. Thanks, brother, and we appreciate it.
All right, so thanks everybody. We want to thank Adrian Farris, our special guest. He's our guest appearance, and hopefully he'll be continuing to comment in the comment section as we go along. But all right, but what's up next? I mean, are we going to segue into the NFL?
It's all about the NFL.
All
Absolutely, it's all about the NFL. And then we'll follow up with the Basketball Hall of Fame before we wrap up. So, but the NFL tomorrow night. Today is Wednesday, right?
Today's
it's
Wednesday.
The Bo and Joe show. But tomorrow night it's the kickoff of the NFL. So we've got what? We've got TB12 versus Dak and the Cowboys. So the kickoff of the NFL season is going to be a good one. And the rating should be off the charts. And I'm looking forward to seeing, how good the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming off of a Super Bowl. Obviously, they're going to do the thing that most teams do, or all the teams do, and Tampa, they're all about the fireworks and shooting off the cannon and all that stuff. So it should be a wild crowd made for TV tomorrow night. So I am pretty excited about it. And they're talking about potentially the Tampa Bay going 17-0. I don't think so. It's a long season. They added that extra game. Anything can happen. Knock on wood. Let's hope no one gets seriously in the NFL. No one gets seriously injured this year. But we know injuries happen. So we'll see. What do you think about 17-0?
I think that's highly unlikely. I don't think, they weren't. Yeah, I don't think that's unlikely. I just want to give out some shout outs. We have Brandon saying, "What's up, Queen Joe?" And he's saying Bucks are going to win by 30 tomorrow.
Oh, come on. There we go. There we go.
Clint Alexander is saying, "Welcome to the show, Clint." 35-17 Bucks. Brady throws for 303 TDs.
I can see 3 TDs.
Yeah, I can.
I can see 300 yards. Absolutely, I can see that.
I think Tampa Bay is going to win. I think Tom Brady's preparing. He's pumped. He's on top of his game. He's got something to prove. I think that he's really unstoppable in many circumstances. And tomorrow is prime time for him. And I think he's going to do well. But I don't know. Adrian saying this is the NFL. No one wins by 30, Brandon. So you got some dissent there. But I do believe he's going to win. I think Dallas isn't in his prime condition as Tampa is. And I'm even going to tune in. I don't know if I've tuned into an opening night in a long time here.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. It's the opening night of the NFL. You got to do the pregame show and see. Right. You got to do it from the beginning and see how the NFL does it. The way the NFL does it, it's better than the NBA does a great job. To sell the sport during the holiday season, right? Thanksgiving game, Christmas game, New Year's game. The NFL does it better than anyone in terms of how they sell their product. You got to do it. Come on.
All right. Well, I don't want to disappoint my partner, Bodine, so I am going to do it. Here's some fighting words potentially for you. Brandon is saying the Eagles will be 0-1 after week 1. He's messing with your team.
Who do we have? Opening game aspirant. Who do we have? He obviously knows who we're playing because I'm not there yet.
Brandon, who are the Eagles playing on week 1?
Who do we open up with? I think the first 4 games for everyone is going to be they're not starting off with a soft schedule, so it should be a good year. Oh, Falcons.
So that'll be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Yeah. My mind's already on week 4.
which is
going to be the New England Patriots against Tampa Bay. I'm really
That's
interested
right.
to see how that game goes down.
Yep.
That's something that I'm looking forward to. So,
That would be very interesting.
If you had asked me last year at this time what I was looking forward to in September, it wouldn't have been an NFL matchup. So how time changes in just a year's time. The Bucks at the Pats. Adrian, agrees. No. the Bucks at the Pats. So Adrian's looking forward to that game too.
Oh, I am too. No.
So
There's a great game. There's more than a few great games that can be circled on the schedule every week. No question about it. And what's great about this opening weekend is that we start off Thursday, then we've got Sunday, and then we've got Monday, and then there's 2 games on Monday Night Football. There's the early game and then the late game. So this is the opening NFL. This is how they do it opening season. So you're going to have a bunch of games on Sunday, and then you're going to have the 2 games on Monday. So it extends the weekend, and then you throw Saturday college football in there. Come on, you got Thursday, maybe a Friday night college game, Saturday college game, Sunday, and then oh my God, that's 5 perfect consecutive games of football. Oh man. And I'm not writing a book anymore, right? I was writing for 5 years, so I had to sacrifice a few games. No more. No.
Adrian is saying he thinks that there's only 1 game on Monday nights this year.
Oh, they changed it?
Yeah, and Nate is saying that too. So thanks for joining the program, Nate. I think it's your first time tuning in, and we appreciate it. Now I forgot. Oh, so I was going to say, 5 straight days of football. I guess I'm going to have to give my notice. How am I supposed to work? How am I supposed to hold the job?
5 straight days of football is absolute, and we need it here in America. People so we can leave all the craziness to the side, and people can actually watch sports and enjoy it. So I'm excited about it. Seriously, well, I haven't been able to do it for 5 years because I was working on my book, and I had to sacrifice a few games here and there, but no more.
So Nate is saying, the Monday night show is going to be the Ravens versus the Raiders. So that'll be interesting.
Great game. Absolutely coming out to shoot. Great game. I am a Raiders fan. I do like Baltimore because they're right down the road, an hour and a half. So I'm going to tune into that game if it's on TV. I need to, matter of fact, it reminds me, I got to sign up for my sports package so I can get the red zone.
Oh boy! Don't tell me I'm going to have to do that now too.
Watch all the touchdowns, Sunday's touchdowns from from 1 o'clock. All the touchdowns scored from 1 o'clock to I think they wrap up between 6 and 7 o'clock. So they show all the touchdowns, and then the Sunday night game is on. So they don't, obviously, because they're off, you don't get to see the touchdowns in that montage. They do a montage of touchdowns from the early games, the 3:30, 4:30 games that end between 6:30 and 7, because then you got 7:30, 8 o'clock kickoff for the Sunday night game. So that's how the red zone works.
All right. Well, I think I'm just going to, tell my husband I'm going down to the bar down the street and I'm just going to be there with the rest of the guys from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I think that'll work for me.
Well, listen, here's how Tom Brady, and I understand why people are rooting for Tom Brady, as they should, because he is the GOAT in terms of quarterbacks. But he just does all the right things and says all the right things. I shout out to our super fan who sent me Justin sent me some information about Tom Brady supporting the tennis player and Simone Biles regarding their mental, taking a mental break. He came out in support of both of them. So He's saying all the right things, doing all the right things, and that's what leaders are supposed to do.
Well, let's talk about that. So that's on my list. I mean, I don't know if you saw that, Naomi Osaka, and really Simone Biles came out, and she's been getting actually some negative press this week. I mean, I'm not even sure why we're revisiting that when the Olympics was a month, several weeks ago, wrapped up a month ago, potentially. And Naomi had a breakdown in some respects. And I think that it's heartbreaking. I mean, it was heartbreaking. I was heartbroken listening to her press conference after the match when she said, I think really probably the worst part for me was when she said, when I win, I'm not happy. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not getting the exact quote. When I win, I'm not happy. I just feel a sense of relief. And when I lose, I feel great sadness. And, these are supposed to be, these are supposed to be young, talented people. And these are supposed to be exciting, happy moments in their lives. You're at your top of your game and you're overwhelmed and feeling sad. And I think it took her out of her element. Even, she was throwing a racket. She hit a ball into the stands. And that was tough for me to watch in entirety. I think that it's unfortunate that she even has to take a break. I mean, but that's where she is. And I support her, of course. I mean, what do you think about that? They're almost forced out of their profession and out of their sport because they have to, they have to be in the public eye. And I don't know. It's a tough call for me. They're just young kids almost.
Yeah. And see, I have the time and the experience to look back and recall other athletes in the past who've had issues, but in the 80s, in the 70s, we weren't calling it, mental issues. We were we were labeling it bad attitude, right? And then, if the players did not accept that they had some emotional or mental issues, then they flew off the rails and their career was over and we never knew why. At least we're confronting it. Those players are confronting it. They can get better. We talked about the Olympic swimmer from the Baltimore area, Michael Phelps, who's one of the first to come forward and talk about it. And look how well he's doing. So she's young. Some people don't understand how much work tennis players or just athletes on that high level have put in. And the body, I mean, we're human. Everyone's body functions a little differently, right? So you might get a little chemical imbalance, a little difference, imbalance. And so, again, I'm not an expert on it, but I'm willing to have empathy and give them the time that they need to get it right? And work on themselves so they can come back to the sport a week or 2 or 3 later and give us the great play that they do. So I'm not being judgmental. I'm not going to do that because, listen, I've been in a difficult position where I had to overcome hurdles and obstacles. So I'm not going to be that person that's sitting on the couch drinking a whatever adult beverage and having the not having the self-control to use my Twitter fingers to, be judgmental. Come on. Because guess what? It's not worth it. Right. So Monday morning quarterbacks, I ain't got time for them. But they'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. And Justin's bringing something up, and I want to bring it because I think this is really it's a great point. He's saying thoughts on the teenagers are dominating the U.S. Open, but that just reminds us that these aren't kids.
They're kids.
Teenagers. Yeah, and we're putting the pressures of the world on them. I mean, I look at my own sons; they're about my son's age. My sons are throwing a tantrum over chicken nuggets, nevertheless being on a world stage. I think that's really difficult. So
it is difficult. Absolutely, it's difficult. I remember. Listen, if I'd have had a microphone thrown in my face in high school, I'd like to think I would have done well, but I'm pretty sure I would not have done well, right? Now, when I got to college, I was a little bit, I started to grow and mature and enhance a little bit. So I was able to be articulate, be able to kind of control what I was saying, where I wouldn't embarrass myself and whatnot. So, but like I said, that young age, listen, I'm glad nobody threw a microphone in my face, because I'm pretty sure I would have said something crazy or not, or froze, right? But hey,
I think all of the in most instances, the trouble starts when they're throwing microphones in their faces and when they lose. You know, what it's very difficult. You know, nobody's in the mood to talk about their losses. And Adrian has a great point. He's saying all you have to do is look at the child actors in the past that have struggled in all kinds of ways. I think the difference is that athletes have mental toughness drilled into them. Particularly men, but women as well at this point. And so, since we mentioned the Olympics and Nate's tuning in for the first time, I always like to acknowledge our newest fans. And he's saying a fun fact: he recently made a move to the same small town that Navon Harrison did, the Olympic gold winner. So we appreciate it, and thanks for that fun fact. That's very interesting. So I don't know too. And I was reading about Naomi, and then I was reading also about Lloyd Harris. He was, throwing spiking water bottles. And of course, those things in tennis are really offenses, and you can get rulings by the chair, the chair judge. And I believe that's the correct terminology, but I don't know now. I mean, do we now default to every single egregious act as being something that's tinged or tainted by mental health? Or are there still, the chair empire? Are there's still, I think, instances of just sore losers, sore sportsmanship, right? So, I mean, it's such a fine line.
I would agree. Not every issue is a serious mental health issue. Some of it is just bad behavior. Folks aren't controlling their emotions. They're living in the moment and they're disappointed. They feel they can, show a level of disrespect to the game. It's, again, we're not in their heads. We can't see the entire picture. We only catch the snapshots on ESPN or Fox Sports 1 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we've got to do a better job.
Yeah, it takes me back to, when I was growing up, the John McEnroe, Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe was like and obviously he doesn't struggle with mental illness. He was like a wild man. Remember how angry,
screaming the top of his lungs. And see, there hence the inequality. He was able to do it in the 80s, right? 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s when he was playing. If a woman would have done that, she would have been crushed. So it's got to be fair. We've got to get to a level and a point where it's fair across the board how you call penalties and call the ins and outs and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, I think advances have been made. Remember when Martina Navratilova was out there and she was scrutinized and insulted because she wasn't Chris Evert. She didn't look like Chris Evert. She was, too masculine. She wasn't pretty enough, and her outfits weren't as feminine enough. And she was really skewered, but and because she was also winning, she really started beating Chris Evert, and she was the All-American girl. And I think at least we have made some advances. And I think Venus and Serena certainly had that scrutiny as well when they were coming up. They were very athletic. They didn't have the slender bodies that we had seen before in the past, and now they're very they're widely accepted. They're outspoken. They've been recognized, but it took them a long time to find their rightful place in history. And even now, I think that they get some undue and some unwarranted criticism.
And again, the folks that are starting and writing and creating the controversy, they may personally may not be jealous, but they may be hearing it from folks in the neighborhood or where they hang out. So they take advantage of that and put it into their story, and create the narrative. Obviously, you're talking about Chris Everett versus who was the other player she was just starting to get in shape, right? Martina Navratilova, yeah. She was getting into shape. But listen, it was jealousy from folks wanting Chris Everett to be the queen or the princess playing that role. Beautiful woman, incredible tennis player, but American, right? So there's all kinds of level of jealousy and envy and resentment that came in, and it's still out there. We've got to pull that out, right? We've got to get that kind of stuff out of the media in terms of how they're writing stories, right? To good, So again, I try not to pay attention to the negative stuff.
It's hard not to, and there's
it's
so
hard.
Much of it.
It's hard. Yeah, I find myself screaming at the TV, and I'm like, "Why is that news? Why are y'all saying that?" But I sometimes will turn my volume on mute and just watch the TV until I think that the person that's the commentator or media person or wherever is done, and then I'll flip it back on. But yeah, I try to only listen and watch the positive stuff. I'd rather watch the game, so to speak.
All right, so speaking of games, we touched on tomorrow night, but what about the rest of Sunday? We're getting down to the last quarter of the hour. This is your domain. What do you want to talk about? What are the matchups? Who should we be looking for? What's going to be what's the most entertaining game? What do you think? What are our thoughts on it?
Well, again, I was one of those players that, as I said before, I was not one of those players that was the rah-rah in the locker room, screaming and yelling, smashing the radio over my head and all that kind of stuff. So I will wake up Sunday morning and go through my routine. I will get my Sunday paper. I'll get my breakfast. I will watch CBS Sunday morning. And then the closer we get to 11 o'clock, I'll flip on and watch some of the pregame shows between Howie Long and Fox and ESPN. I'll give them both a shot, right? I'll sneak in a little CBS in there, and then I'll see who's playing, and I'll decide what I want to watch based on which game is on which network. So that's how I roll. I don't generally start circling games until the third week, because I want to give the first and second week, give me a chance to see what a team looks like, So, but yeah, so about, it's the TV will be on all day until Sunday night at midnight when that Sunday night game is over, period. And then I won't go to bed till 3.
So I shouldn't call you like at 1 or 2 or 4?
You can call me as much as you want. Absolutely. I'll be available to talk.
All right.
I wanted to answer your question with basically, I don't know who I'm, what game that I'm going to watch. I haven't circled it yet. So, we'll see.
Adrian's saying the Steelers, Bills, and he's also saying the Browns, Chiefs are the big game.
There are a lot of great games. I'll pick and see which one is on, right? Like I say, I'll see who's on CBS, Fox, and then and go from there. I know who's on NBC will be the only game on Sunday night, so I'll have that game. I won't have to choose. So yeah, we'll see. Do you have a game circled for Sunday? Do you know who's playing in your? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who's playing in my market yet. But that'll be my routine. I'll get the Sunday paper while I'm watching CBS Sunday morning. I'll open the sports. I'll look at the schedules, and I'll say, okay, that could be the game on. That could be okay. Boom. and that's how I'll do it. I make those decisions at the last minute. Pats, Dolphins. That's
a good one.
That's a good one. So it's based, that it's based on the region that you're in will determine what game you get. So I'm in the Eagles region. Is the Eagles game here or away? I won't know that until I open up the paper because I don't have time to worry about it until Sunday.
Right. So I'm sure the Bills will be on here. That's a big one. Giants. I don't know who's on the bye this week. So do they have a bye week 1?
They can't have a bye week 1. Okay, no, they can't have a bye week 1. No, that'd be crazy. Then
it'll probably be the Giants, and we'll have the Giants, and we'll probably have the Bills here. So that'll be interesting. Who are the Giants playing this week? And Giants versus Broncos, just as saying. So that could be a good game too. But I don't know. The Giants don't look very strong to me this year. I'm sure, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm interested in. I do like the Chiefs, and I'd be interested to see how Patrick does. I think that's going to be. He's certainly. I'm a fan favorite of his. I always like when I like their personality. He's talented, but I do like his personality as well. I think that he seems like a solid guy unless I hear otherwise, I'm certainly a fan favorite of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So,
well, the biggest interest will be Mac Jones for the Pats since they cut or released rather. What's his name? I can't believe I'm forgetting. Who was it? What's his name?
I can't believe we both forgot.
I can't believe we're forgetting. Anyway.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, right.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. So Mac Jones, did you see thanks Justin, by the way, Mac Jones.
I remembered before Justin told me, so I just want to point that out.
Recruited his girlfriend to help him get prepared for his official start, because you can imagine the nerves, right? He can't sleep, the energy. He is going to be starting his NFL career as the New England Patriots, knowing that fan base. So he's preparing. I like the fact, I hope I'm sure some people are poking holes at him and throwing zingers at him because he recruited his girlfriend to help. But you know what they say, an old cliche, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. So his girlfriend's all in, right? And I like the fact she's all in and she's helping and she's in it, right? She could be out doing other things, but she is committed to helping him prepare for his season. So I really appreciate that she's doing that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, so Justin's saying, why do you need a girlfriend for that? But she is a supermodel, though. So Justin does think she has some attributes.
Well, I don't even know who she is. I don't know what she looks like. I just like the fact that she's in. She's all in. She's helping her guy because she can see the pressure. She's with him. She can see that he's worried about it. So I like the fact that she's all in. Right?
I do too. And Justin, it doesn't matter. You take the support where you can. You have supportive people around you and they're willing to elevate you, girlfriend or not. You certainly take advantage. And I don't want to say take advantage in the way of taking advantage, but you capitalize on the support systems that you have in your life. And then you reciprocate. That's how it should be.
He'll learn. He'll learn. He's going to learn. All right. So let's switch. Since we got 10 minutes left, let's switch to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Because there's lots of folks being inducted. So we've got a fan favorite, Jay Wright, Villanova head coach, basketball coach. So everyone's excited around here. Is excited for Jay. He deserves it. He's obviously won two titles. So, we're happy for Jay. Bill Russell, the first Black head coach in the NBA who took over for Red Auerbach. So he's in as a coach and a player. Very few on that list, right? A couple of our great WNBA players, Yolanda Griffith, and she won 2 gold medals. Lauren Jackson, 3-time WNBA MVP. Val Ackerman. I remember Val from college, her college time, and then we've got Chris Wilbur, Chris Bosch, Ben Wallace, Paul Pierce, who's been in the news lately, and Tony Kukoc. So those are a lot of names, and that's probably not even half the list. So what do you think of those names I just rolled off?
I think, well, of course, I love the women. I love that there's even a WNBA. I mean, that's, when I was growing up, there certainly wasn't that. Chris Webber,
Correct.
he's speaking about his experience, and I always like and enjoy when someone doesn't have, and I don't mean it by enjoy that I'm relishing in any hardships that they have, but I love when people overcome adversity and come out on the other side. So I do enjoy his personality. I applaud, and I'm glad that he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm not as familiar with the other individuals, but I'm all for anybody who makes it to the next level and is elevated. And I think it's an impressive list this year. I'm not always impressed with all of the inductees across the broad spectrum of, there's so many Hall of Fames, but I think this list was pretty, I was pleased with the Baseball Hall of Fame inductees, and I thought the NBA did a great, well, this isn't the NBA, the Basketball Hall of Fame did a great job as well.
Yeah, it's obviously easier to make the Basketball Hall of Fame versus making the NBA Hall of Fame, because there's a few guys on this list that won't be visiting the NBA Hall of Fame ever. But they had a great college career, right? They had probably a great high school career, and then they had a pretty good or even above average NBA career. So when you combine all of that, it allows them to get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, because it's strictly for basketball on that level. So go for those guys.
Let me ask you this about the NBA Hall of Fame. Does that include the WNBA, or it's only exclusive to the NBA?
The NBA is exclusively for the NBA players. I'm assuming eventually, the longer the WNBA continues to grow their league and get some years behind them, it would be in the best interest of the NBA to either include women from the WNBA, or the WNBA create its own Hall of Fame for the WNBA. It's going to be one of the two. They're going to have to do it, because the WNBA has been around at least 15, 20 years.
I think so.
So they're getting some time, some space from that first date till now, which means that there's been a lot of players come through the league, be it MVPs, leading scorers, rebounders, all those categories that we hear about the guys, right? So if Dennis Rodman, I don't know if he's in maybe one of the guys can help. If Dennis Rodman is in the NBA Hall of Fame because all he did was rebound and win championships because of his rebounding, and he was a good team player, then there's going to be a woman who's accomplished the same thing regarding how many rebounds per game she had, and then over her career, what that total number is. So they're going to have to face that.
So, we haven't spoken about COVID tonight, but Justin's bringing up a good point. He's saying, and I didn't read this, so you may know, because he's saying, what are your thoughts on your boy Charles Barkley going after the athletes not taking the vaccine?
He's right.
Yeah,
we talked about it. He's right. If you want to play any sports, you got to get your physical. You got to wear the equipment, or you can't play. I don't understand how these guys all of a sudden think that they can circumvent the rules that's been out there forever. They, of all people, should know, are athletes, because we've been doing it for many, many, many years. So he is absolutely right. Charles can be, can be a pain in the gluteus maximus sometimes based on speaking his mind, because that's kind of how, we were raised in the South, especially from Alabama, which my family's from. But the bottom line is he's correct. These guys are just being a pain because whatever reason. But I wouldn't, if I was a general manager, I'd be like, yo, see you got to go. Because I don't have time for it. We're trying to win. We don't have time for these distractions. And that's all they are, distractions. And they're going to continue to be distractions all year unless the team is together.
So Adrian is saying he agrees. When you're a professional athlete, it's not a personal decision. You impact everyone in the league. Did you see this? The statement that came out from Tampa Bay saying all of our players have been vaccinated. So I think that was really the way of answering the question. Has Tom Brady been vaccinated? And I love how they handled it. They didn't reference Tom. They spoke about the team as if it was a unified group. The whole team was vaccinated, and I give Tom Brady a lot of credit for that, because I think there was some skepticism about whether he would do it simply because, he values his body and he's so regimented. But I think some reports came out that actually his sister is a nurse, and I believe his other sister is in the medical profession as well. And I think it spoke volumes to me that they didn't sensationalize it, that Tom got the vaccine. They just simply spoke about the team on its own merit. So,
well, listen, the bottom line is all of the players had time off between OTAs and the beginning of this season, right? Tom Brady participated in that golf challenge, remember?
Yes.
Listen, if he took time off for the golf challenge, he could take time off to get the shot and then get back to work after a week. Come on. So listen, he, again, is leading by example. The organization is leading by example by not allowing the media to single out individual guys, right? And that's what leadership is about. If Tom Brady, the GOAT, with 5 rings, 6 rings, if he can lead by example, the rest of the crew's following him, they're the best chance to win the Super Bowl. If you're gonna, if you're playing fantasy football, you gotta love it. If you're a bettor and a gambler, you gotta love it. So hey, it's all about, again, it's what we've been doing. It's what we've done our whole career. I didn't start playing until I was in 8th grade. I still had to do all those things. I wasn't special. Nobody's special, right? When you're on a team, nobody's special in terms of the rules. The rules are for everyone, period.
Agree. So, all right. So we're down to 2 minutes. I'm going to throw it to you for the wrap up. We have people commenting on the vaccine, and I think that we've covered that pretty extensively, and I think we'll continue to do so because it's obviously going to be impacting the season, and we'll just want to watch it unfold and see how it does, and hopefully, yeah. I think about it. Can you imagine if it would be interesting to see if any player gets an extreme case and is really taken aback by it. I think that might change the story a little bit. But what do you think? How do you want to close it out? It's 10:59. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hey, listen, let's get ready for some football tomorrow night. I'm jacked. I'm ready. I'm not going to pick a winner, even though I grew up a Cowboys fan. I am officially an Eagles fan. So I'm looking forward to the NFL season. It's going to be outstanding.
All right, me too. And I am going to pick a winner. I'm going with Tampa Bay. I'm going to back Tom on week 1. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to go undefeated, but I do think he's going to win tomorrow night. So I'm going to throw my support in. I believe in manifestation. So if I'm behind him, he's definitely going to win. So Adrian is saying he's going to dispute me, and how about them Cowboys? So all right, we'll see how it goes, Adrian. We'll see.
Well, thanks, Adrian, for coming on tonight. We'll continue the conversation to get him on for the baseball playoffs. So.
And we want to thank everybody else. Of course, Justin, he's our main man. We want to thank Justin for tuning in. And we had some new, we had Clint come on, Brandon came on, of course, Adrian, and we also had, who else did we have? I believe Adam came in. Oh, and Nate, thank you for tuning in. I think Nate's a first-time viewer, and we certainly appreciate your support. So great. So we'll touch base with you. And if we have any new developments, and we have any commentary on the games, we'll be sure to post it in the Bo and Joe Facebook group. So if you haven't joined our group, please do so. And we are certainly going to be interacting in that forum throughout the football season at the very least. And even if Bo and I don't, Justin will be posting in there for us. So there's definitely going to be some content in there, people. And then, of course, we want to thank Chris behind the scenes. He's really helped. He helps move this program along, and we can't do it without him. So thanks, Chris. And you can play us out. And what's the NFL slogan? Yeah, let's get ready for some football and yeah.
Let's get ready for some football. Good luck, everybody, with your fantasy and your opening football season, NFL season. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Chris, you can play us.